Hello guys, good afternoon, good day everyone. Back to training hour. And for a while now we've been looking into buyers and sellers, and last video we talked about the buyers and the sellers and how to identify them, what are the things you need to look in for, and how to trade them. And most importantly, when you are trading, you need to identify which market in which you are at that time. So today we'll only be looking continuation to what we learned in the last training, and we'll try as much as possible to highlight certain things that would serve as a backup to our understanding when we want to trade the forex market, and more perspective into the buyers and sellers strategy. Okay, now first we talked about you looking at the big trend, right? You always want to look at where the big guys are actually putting in their money and what position in which they are taking at that particular time. So sorry, don't mind my writing. Okay, so the big trend, so you want to know where the market is heading to, and so right here we can see the market is actually heading down at I've actually highlighted this area so that we'll be able to look into it and see how you can actually trade this. Market is heading down, everybody sees that, and you can see the level of how the market pull down and pull back into this region, pull down and pull back into that region again. So gradually you can see the flow of how the market heads up. So when you have this understanding, what are the things you need to also look for? We have the big trend, right? And which market in which you find yourself. I told you last time that you always go with the trend of the market, where the market is heading to. If the market is heading down and you decide to buy, you'll be taking a very high risk against the market. So most importantly, you want to have this picture right there, that when the market is heading downwards, you want to look at the opportunity to sell with the market, not buy. Okay, so at what point then do you need to get into the market to join the big trend? Let's assume in all this, let me take this off. You have let me use someone that's far more close to us here. So let's assume in Dangote, right, bought a factory. Okay, Dangote bought a factory of sugar, right? And he bought right here at this point in time when the market is down, right? And most importantly, you want to have an understanding that when a particular commodity comes out, like we pointed out in the last video, that it's the VIP guys, the big guys, that only have access to that product first. When that product is out, or assuming an iPhone is out, the only people you see having access to that particular product is the big guys. So because they have the money to actually get into the market at that time. So, and as the demand of that product begins to increase, you see that price will begin to increase. Okay, we have Dangote buying this sugar factory, and price, investment and everything into that factory begins to increase, and at one point you will see some slack down, a little bit of rest okay, in the investment of the market, because the market moves in a zigzag format, okay. It moves in waves, it doesn't head up like that. So you want to have an information at what point will the market begin to take a rest. Now if the market move from this region, okay, towards to this region at an 100% of movement, okay, 100% movement, okay, at what percent will the market rest when it begins to move? Okay, if it take this rest of about say 30% of its movement upward, will you conclude that Dangote is tired of actually pulling this company upward again towards this region? So at that point you'll be looking at a possibility that the guy who took the company to a particular level, a particular high in the market, and rested a little bit, and sellers begin to get struggling with the market, and you have a little bit of rest in 30%. There's possibilities that that guy is not tired of pulling up again. So at this region you'll be looking for an opportunity to get in with the big guys. So when the market is on an uptrend, you always want to look for an opportunity to join the big guys in the market. Always look for that opportunity. A lot of people know that when the market start rising and it gets to a particular point, they start looking for an opportunity to sell the market. Good and fine that you're selling to the buyers, but when you are selling to the buyers, is the big guy involved in your selling? If the big guy is not involved in your selling, then you're actually risking a lot of your money in selling that particular product, because his interest basically is he wants you to sell at a lower price, then he will take that advantage and buy it from you at that price. So it is quite important that you have that understanding that when the big guy is in play and the market begins to move in a particular direction, you want to have at the back of your mind that at what point you want him to take a rest, you will also have that same opportunity to join Dangote, to join whoever is in the market, to take that same decision in buying. Okay, so let's look at the chart and see how we can actually look into this together. Okay, right here you can see market heading up, and you saw this pullback, and with the information you have, you saw right this region you have a kind of a support right there, and price easily break into that support and went down. Okay, now right here you have an understanding that the discounts in the price here is done by the big guys. Okay, let's assume someone is selling this, or let's assume Big Gate is selling this. Okay, these are big guys with the money. Okay, Big Gate is selling this price at this price, and when it begins to sell, okay, you want to join in selling. You don't think of buying it from him. Okay, you want to join him selling at this price, right? So you wait at this point and see if there will be a pullback. Okay, and to what percentage is the pullback to the movement downward? Okay, you move right here. Let's assume this is an 100% movement. Okay, done by Big Gate, 100% movement right here. and price move back, you want a pullback, right? You look for a pullback, and what is the percentage of the pullback into that region because of this resistance region being broken, the support region being broken, turn resistance. What is the percentage of the pullback? You can count the numbers of candles it used to pull the price down to this region, and you can see how price is struggling to get up to about 10% of its movement downward. It shows you that he still has control of this market. He still has the control over this market, and sooner or later you also pull it back, you also send it down again with a very huge percentage of movement downward. So this would be a very nice opportunity. Around this region would be a very nice opportunity for you to join the trend of this market downward, and you can easily see that market begins to head down. So looking at this analysis, we see price has gotten into this period, right? And you want to take further decisions, and as price begins to move gradually, you can see price head back down to this region, okay? And right here you have an opportunity to pull it back down. But do we have an 100% movement like we did in the first instance? You could see that we don't have that 100% movement, okay? We only have a pullback up right here, and you can see the move down is almost 100%. Now this sends a signal to you that the guy that moves right into this region is possibly tired of actually taking the price down, okay? Right here you have what I call the money spot. When the buyers and the sellers are having the same amount of struggle in the forex market, then you see this as a kind of competition where the money is. Any breakout around this region is going to take the market in a reverse direction. So these are things you actually look for to take important decisions in the market. We move the other way around, okay? And you can see as price begins to get into this area, you can see right here the rejection candle, and the sellers who have been kicking down from here are finding it very difficult to actually continue the move back downward. So which gives you an open mind that we could actually find this guy being weak around this region, okay? So once you find or you sense weakness in the initial move of the market, then you should have an open mind towards the other direction. And if you look carefully after that, you can see price begin to head back up, right? So broke right this region, and you can see price coming down to contest that region, and further you see this massive uptrend. So for us, when you want to trade this, you have the understanding where the big trend is now. The big trend has changed into the upward movement, right? And right there you can see if we have this upward movement, what should be our next take of entry? Should probably find a very nice support region around here, okay? Price move down around this region, we could have an opportunity to actually follow this big move to the upside, okay? And could have an opportunity to join this big trend upward here. So these are how to actually identify buyers and sellers. When do you want to buy? When do you want to sell? At what point do you need to buy? So you look at the initial move of the market. What is the percentage of the move against that move? Then it gives you a picture that if the price is sluggishly trying to pull back down, then you could have a nice opportunity to actually look for an upward trend again. Then right here will be a very good opportunity for you to get into the market. So, and I hope you've been able to learn this. Go through your charts, try as much as possible to look into it properly. Look for how market reacts when the buyers get in, when the sellers get in, and what price do you want to get into the market. It's more of demand and supply. Okay, when you look into it properly, you'll be able to have a very nice trading career. Okay, I wish you guys best of luck. That will be all for now. I hope by Monday we should be able to have proper trading week next week, and we'll keep in touch. Okay, thank you and God bless.